Hello everyone, this is Tim, Samwise7, and I just watched Sean, TheOutsiders, do a video about NPC voices and how to find them and how to basically show your players that you're really involved with the game and that you really want to show them a good time. In my experience, players that have sat down for the first time with me as a GM, sometimes they've heard things like, "Oh wow, he kind of goes off the wall with some of his NPC characters. He really acts them out." And I don't know. In the gaming club that I have, I'm kind of known for that, where I really get into character, and I use some techniques sometimes that I don't know. People aren't used to, and it's pretty entertaining to see someone react to me for the first time. If you haven't seen some of my videos where I'm sort of acting on camera with the vlog of the zombie apocalypse and the buried alive sort of thing, you can check those out. I don't know. They're okay. They're not really great, but I don't know. But when I'm playing a character, a lot of times I don't do the prep work for it, and I can just come up with a lot of stuff just right at the table. And where do I get that ability? I don't know. It's just something I've always had. I just have some sort of like inspiration, and I just run with it. But you don't have to do it that way. You can write some personality traits, maybe some attitude or something that the character has. Maybe write a little bit of something about their background. And what you do is you take all those pieces and you make art. You really do. You just put all those pieces together and you just try to express that character with your performance, because that's really what it is when you're running a game. You're a performer, and your audience is the players that are around the table. So I've been doing this, I think, just for a very, very long time. Since I was a little kid, playing with toys, playing with like G.I. Joes and He-Man figures and dinosaurs. And I don't know about you, but I always mixed all my toys together. So it was like this strange thing where dinosaurs and G.I. Joes were attacking each other. And even then, I was using my voice and sort of acting out the little figures that I was moving around with my hands. I started role-playing pretty young, and I've pretty much been doing it my whole life. But for someone that hasn't been doing that their whole life, I'm sure it can be kind of intimidating to try to put on a good show, put on a good performance for your players, especially if you don't have much experience with it. And what are some of my suggestions for getting into character and really role-playing NPCs up to the hilt? As I've said in another video, I think that's one of my strong points as a GM, is just really just almost forgetting that I'm even there and just taking on the traits and persona of the character and just letting come out of my mouth whatever the character would say, whatever the NPC would say, which can be very liberating, especially I don't know, if you're very different than the character you're portraying. It can be difficult sometimes because they have different attitudes, different thoughts, different feelings on different things. But just go with it. It's like a wheel rolling down a hill. You figure out what the wheel's like. You figure out its tendencies, its abilities, and so you make this nice wheel. And then you're at the table, and then you just roll it down the hill, and wherever it goes, that's where it goes. You might have some end point in mind, but don't be afraid to just be in the moment and just take that character, and just hold on tight and just go for a ride. Because a lot of times you'll end up in places that you didn't prepare for, and that's okay, because that's what players are there for. It's not just your story; it's their story, and what they come up with can definitely change the direction that your NPCs will go in. So just flesh out a character, beforehand, or really just make one up on the spot. Because I think, in my experience, you have to do both. You can even prep characters ahead of time with different personality traits. You can go online, find a list of different quirks. There's a few newsletters out there. The roleplayingtips.com has had several articles about this. And you basically just print out a big long list of different personality quirks and traits. And if you need to bring up a NPC up on the fly, you just look down, okay, has a lisp, he limps, whatever. He's missing an eye, he's angry at the world all the time. Uh, Whatever you want to do, and don't be afraid to experiment too. Um, if you've never role played out an NPC with these traits, you just have to go with it. You're never gonna get better at it unless you practice and you use that knowledge in a game. You know, uh, there's a difference between theoretical knowledge and hands-on knowledge. And uh, in my experience, you can read all the books you want, but it really comes down to when you're sitting at the table and your characters, or the players are around you, and they're really just soaking in all the stuff that you're giving them. Your performance. Um, so let's see here if I have any other tips. Uh, I think just letting go. Don't be afraid of your character or your players laughing, for instance. I'll give you an example. I had to roleplay an NPC character. She was an older lady that was in a laundromat. This was a werewolf game. And the werewolf character was being kind of rude. And he barges into this laundromat, and this old lady had about half the machines running, and she was doing all of her laundry. He decided that he's going to go in, reach down at all the washing machines, and slop her clothes down on the floor. Well, needless to say, this lady was not very happy. So I just had my finger, and I said that, she picks up her cane, and she starts beating it off the table, and she's screaming, "Well, what are you doing? Why are you leave my laundry alone? My son's going to kill you!" And this character popped out of nowhere, that this old lady had a son that was a biker, and he was a big guy, and he was kind of a mama's boy, and no one messes around with his family, So what started out as a little tiny incident in the laundromat soon broiled up into all these bikers looking for them, and the lady gave them the descriptions of everyone, and I really got into role playing that old lady, and some of the players at the table were like, "Whoa," because I was hitting stuff off the table, and I think I had like an empty can or something. I like threw it against the wall, and just be careful. You don't want to break anything. But I found a loud sound while you're role playing definitely kind of gets the people in, just kind of like sucks them in. In the vampire game I'm running right now, Malchian is this Nosferatu prince of the city that they're in, and one of the characters gave him horrible news that he has this very powerful rival that's in the local area, and he's been working behind the scenes to weaken him and take over control, and he's done this before, so he was furious that he didn't know this was happening. None of his contacts had told him. And I had a box of 10-sided dice, a little wooden box. And just while I was, role playing it, just like, kind of like not screaming, but almost screaming, in the game, he picks up a chair and throws it against a wall. Well, I'm not going to do that. So what I did was I picked up this box of dice and I just dumped it and threw it all over the wall. And it made such a cacophony of noise that like it sucked all the players in. They were in the moment. They weren't looking at their cell phones. They weren't thinking about other things. The people that weren't even in the scene were just sucked into it, and they were just right there. So you can do little tricks like this. I really haven't done much with the props, but like Sean has. But I've really kind of just gone all into it when I'm role playing out a character. So. Don't be shy. Just go with it. Even if it's the worst acting job you think in your head that you'll ever do, you've ever seen, you'd be surprised how many players really appreciate that. Even if you think it's the worst thing on earth, you'll probably find afterwards, after the game's done, where they come up to you and go, "You know what, man? That was a great session. I really loved when you did that." So have confidence. Don't be afraid to mess up. And really just have a blast with it. If you get butterflies in your stomach, just push on through it. Have a good one.